Hello, hello. This is the Awful and Awesome Entertainment Wrap, episode 202. This is Rajyasree.
And this is Abhinandan Sekhri, bringing you your weekly dose of pop culture. We watched many things this time. Some that was... Actually, nothing was awful or awesome. It was quite nice or not quite nice. It was like except the ad.
I felt one thing was a little not awesome. Far from, but I'll temper what I have to say about it because people might get upset.
Although when I said that I'll be watching Drishyam 1 and Drishyam 2 because it had become such a big deal, Rajyasree bet 5,000 rupees. She says, I'll give you 5,000 rupees if by the time this podcast is recorded, you would have watched everything. So I haven't watched My Octopus Teacher, but I watched Drishyam 1 and Drishyam 2, so give me 3,500 rupees.
You watched Drishyam 1 also?
Both
I'll quiz you on what happened.
You quiz me. I've watched 1 and 2. I haven't watched Octopus Teacher, but that means I still get 3,500.
But no, because Octopus Teacher is equivalent to like $4,000 because it's an international documentary.
You're so cheap because foreign it's not.
Foreign
so give me $1,000.
I'll give you this this clip. You can keep this.
Thank
is
you.
200 whole rupees from Defence Colony.
Okay.
Very nice.
It's suiting me?
It's got a...
Nach meri Rani nach. Okay. So, cheapo. So, I basically proved you wrong. I watched Drishyam 1 and 2.
But we have no proof of this, no?
You'll know as soon as that.
Okay, I'll
watch my things that I've watched. It records now with Amazon that what you watched and all.
Cheap. This sounds like the kind of thing. Do you remember that film, Sleeping with the Enemy?
No. Yeah, Michael Douglas.
No. Sleeping with the Enemy is Julia Roberts and that Patrick Bergeron.
No, I haven't watched.
You haven't watched Sleeping with the
Enemy? I
Enemy?
may have. I forget. I'm old. Okay, can we move?
So he used to monitor everything she did, no? That have you moved the towel in the bathroom like that? That's like when you say, check what I've watched. That's the kind of
Because you're not believing me. Either you believe me or you...
No.
So what is the solution? I don't understand.
There's
you
no
just,
solution.
for the sake of it, you just ramble.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a series called The Married Woman, which the unmarried woman has watched.
Yes.
And the unmarried man hasn't watched because it's not the married man, so why should I watch it? I have watched Drishyam 1 and Drishyam 2. And we're going to talk about the Grammy Awards, if there is anything to talk about. A documentary called My Octopus Teacher. This wasn't on the list last week when we promised what all we'll be watching, but because it's been nominated to the Oscars, we thought we'd watch it. And Bombay Begum has been asked to be withdrawn by Netflix. And it's got rave reviews. Rajyasree, clearly no one agrees with our reviews. And the mother of all ads. And I'll tell you, I'm saying the mother of all ads. There's a pun. I'm punning on the word mother. So clever.
You're giving it away also. This is like saying your joke, explaining your joke, saying, did you realize when you should laugh at my joke? Like that.
That I cue by laughing myself.
That's also true.
So, also, many of you have written, much to Rajyasree's chagrin कहते हैं, chargin कहते हैं, chagrin. No, that is you made up your own.
No, it's a French word.
Okay, that very well. I said all the songs that I recommend, there should be a playlist for that.
Who are these people? I did not see any of these memes.
Jude, a wonderful producer. Anyway, I was told that there should be a playlist of all the songs that I've recommended because people are asking. So there is a Spotify playlist which is embedded on this podcast page. If you come to Newslaundry, it's embedded. So all the wonderful Punjabi songs that I've recommended are all on that playlist. So you can come on to newslaundry.com, go to this podcast page of Awful and Awesome, and it'll be embedded there. So Rajyasree, let's start off with the mother of all ads.
Yes.
Because let's start off with something truly awesome. So this is what the ad sounds like and looks like.
You, pregnant. You, a mother. That depends. What is an athlete? Someone who moves? Sounds like you. Someone who gets it done, no matter what. You do that. Someone who listens to her body. Also you. Someone who defies gravity. You. Someone who deals with the pain, hits her limit, and pushes past it. Pushing, pushing, pushing. Someone who earns every single win. You. So, can you be an athlete? If you aren't, no one is.
That last line, if you aren't, no one else, is truly spectacular. So basically, Alex Morgan, Perry Edwards, Bianca Williams, Shelley Ann Fraser-Price, Nia Ali as we call
And
in
your
India.
favorite, Serena.
And Serena Williams. So most of them are shown pregnant.
All are shown pregnant.
Not Serena. She's
playing with her daughter. Yeah.
Nike time and again proves that makes the best ads by far. Even the Deepika Padukone ad was a Nike ad, if I remember correctly.
By mistake they cast her, but that's okay.
This ad is like, it wants to make you want to be a woman who's pregnant.
So it didn't make me want to be a woman who's pregnant.
Because already 50% is there, so you take it for granted. You take your privilege for granted.
My privilege that I could be pregnant and exercising like this. So it's for their new maternity collection called Nike M. And they launched it on. So this is one of those International Women's Day ads. And I'm just impressed, one, that they found so many athletes who were pregnant also to shoot with. But they might have shot it over a period of time. But it is so well shot, one. The
music, all the ads have amazing music.
Very good music. It's short, it's crisp. It is the visuals are, because you are just staring at those women, because some of them are very heavily pregnant.
Yeah.
So I don't think anyone who's not an athlete should try and do any of these things though, because some of it looked very.
Dr. Rajyasree Sen,
compounder
Sen ki baat suno.
I know people who go for walks when they are pregnant and they feel tired, so I don't think that you should definitely be on a trapeze, this thing, and doing acrobatics. But it is so well done and it's so aesthetic also.
Yeah, all the ads are. But you know the pun on the word pushing, and she's like pushing because you're pregnant.
Oh, you got that. You're so intuitive and very smart.
I'm like a pregnant woman. That's me.
You're like a pregnant woman. What is thought of as a stereotypical pregnant woman, that she'll be crabbity and annoyed with everything. That part you've got quite.
I've got that. So
for the last many years
I've been like that.
You've been, gestation period is 12 years.
No one is going to believe you when you say that I'm
Everyone
ill-tempered,
knows that
annoying.
You're ill-tempered.
Annoyed. Really? Okay.
You've got a look now. You started cultivating this image of being very pleasant, but people know better. But it's a very good ad. We'll have the link below. And
the mother of all ads.
Nike is really good at what
Nike Mother. The ad is called Nike Mother.
And I'm very impressed by so all the clothes that the women are wearing, the exercise wear, is very, very attractive too. This ad is made by Whedon and Kennedy. Good stuff.
Good stuff. Awesome. So awesome is out of the way. There's nothing awful, but let's get the other stuff in the way. But before I do that, I had requested you all to write in if you are interested in writing a newsletter. So many of you have written it. You don't have to actually write the full letter. It's just like a 3-line pitch that what is your area of expertise or interest. And then we can slot it accordingly, because some of you have done that, but some of you have actually written out the newsletter. So you don't really have to do that. I mean, but yeah, most of you have sent a pitch. So just send like the 3-4 line pitch, and we'll then start slotting those in that order. So yeah, thank you. You can write to us at contact@newslaundry.com. The name that has been suggested is Popped, as in POP''D. Chitranshu had come with the name Popped, should be a pop culture newsletter. So, but it could also be POPPED, which is the ad after everyone's popped. You know, when they are...
Like that. Thank God Whedon and Kennedy hasn't hired you as the creative director.
It's just, it comes to me like that.
That's because you... We are in India. This is India. This is why COVID has come and gone through my body most probably. I don't know. Immunity is very high right now because of these makkis.
Basically,
and all.
when you go jogging in the evening, आपका जो protein intake होता है ना, so you don't have to have that whey protein shake after your jog. Because आपने मक्खियाँ और मच्छर इतने खा लिए होते हैं while jogging that it's all taken care of.
So I remember when I was in college, this is nothing to do with pop. No, but I was in college studying communication, so that has to do with pop culture.
Clearly, it didn't do you much good.
Social communications media, I have, you know. So we had ordered biryani from the veg biryani from the hostel, kitchen, and it came, and I was looking at the cauliflower in the veg purao, and there was a little worm. So I said, there's a worm. I took it back and I said, there's a worm in my cauliflower. No, in my biryani. And I remember that nun, she was a nun, I think. She said, it's not in your biryani, it's in your cauliflower. And I got so stumped by this response. I said, okay, I left it. It cost me 28 rupees or something, but it was a lot at that time.
So, yeah. So
That's random anecdote of the day. Number 1.
But there are more.
There are more.
Dear God. Okay.
So what do you want to talk about? Your favorite thing, the married woman?
I want to first start by Inderpreet's one-line email.
Which is?
He's a subscriber. Thank you so much. Dear Abhinandan, please don't talk over Rajyasree ma'am. Love you both. Thank you, Inder.
How many times have you been told this by Rajyasree ma'am and friends also? How many times?
So, A, I think you talk over me more often than I talk over you. B, if you never stop talking, how do I get a word in?
Please, okay? This is Abhinandan's favorite thing to say is that I'm always cutting and I'm always interrupting him. But he's been told by many, many people that he keeps interrupting me.
Okay.
You accept now? Subscriber has written.
ठीक है.
And
So, ठीक है.
so shall we discuss what you watched two films of?
We can start. No, let's start with something that you watched, so I won't interrupt, called The Married Woman. So tell us about that. What have I missed?
I'm sure you'll interrupt still, but even then. So The Married Woman I watched because I did not know that it was being shown at all. But a friend of mine works with Hindi serials and with a production house, and she asked me, have you watched The Married Woman? It's on Old Balaji. So I have a Old Balaji subscription. It's 30 rupees a month. That's why I have it most probably because it was so cheap. I said, that's okay. Then this investment I will do. And The Married Woman is based, the reason I watched it is because it's based on a book by Manju Kapoor. Manju Kapoor had written another book which I had started reading and stopped. But it was supposed to be very good, called Difficult Daughters. DD. So, a married woman, contrary to what so there's a kahani mein twist. See, there's no great suspense, so now I'm going to say what the story
So
is.
spoilers
okay?
ahead.
Haan.
That's the nature of Rajyasree Sen's podcast.
Yeah, and if you all are so emotionally destroyed by what I'm going to say, then what can I say now? So anyway. I don't know.
Your sentences don't make sense, which is why I have to interrupt to kind of make sense of
To
it.
make sense, that's why you interrupt. I don't think that's the only reason I interrupt, but sure, let's say that's why. So it's directed by Sahil Raza. It stars, this actress, Monica Dogra. If you see her, you will know her.
Fine.
I'll show you
then
Monica.
It's okay, you can carry on.
Here, Monica Dogra.
Okay, no, but
No?
still.
Okay, and it stars Riddhi Dogra. So I checked,
Okay.
are they family or not? Which I hope they weren't, because what happened in the show, I just felt if they are family, that's a little weird.
It'll
then.
lead to strife.
Yeah. The show has a kahani mein twist. It's set in 1992. It's about this woman played by Riddhi Dogra, who is I wouldn't even say middle class, sort of upper middle class wife. She's married. She has 2 kids. She seems happily married to a man who makes toilet seats, but like fancy toilet seats. So I like that. Twist was quite nice. And she stays with her in-laws. They stay in Gulmohar Park, but it's not like a fancy Gulmohar Park home. And Gulmohar Park, for people who are not from Delhi, Gulmohar Park is a very elite part of
It's a posh,
Delhi
I mean,
too.
it's
a
money,
posh
yeah.
locality
Yeah,
to
right.
stay in. And she's a teacher in a college, and she teaches literature, and it starts with her going into college. She's written a play which the college students are going to perform. There's a new teacher who's a drama teacher, which is Imad Shah.
Nasir's son.
Who's in every show and
Series
film
these
nowadays,
days.
which is, I think it's very good. He acts very well. And so she sort of falls in love with this drama teacher because he's very different from her husband. He's very intellectual. He's very dramatic, unlike her husband. And
Who teaches history, but he performs histrionics. So that's also good.
This is very bad, this joke, so we cannot laugh at it at all. So she falls in love with him, and he is married to this artist played by Monica Dogra, who the artist, I don't know of any Muslim female artists in 1992 who was so avant-garde, living in a very conservative part of Delhi. I at least don't know, but maybe there were. Could be.
But they are not Gulmohar Park.
They are not Gulmohar Park. They
okay.
are, you know, but it's a very arty looking home and all that. And
in the 90s, Delhi was very arty.
Maybe, so that's what I'm saying. Maybe it was.
92 is not 56. Don't make it sound like it's a different century.
56 was more arty, I feel.
Okay.
So, but then when you think that she's falling in love with, and she tells Imacha that she's in love with him, then he dies.
Dear God.
And I was like, third episode.
Spoiler alert, too late.
That's what. Third episode, he's dead. There are like 9 episodes more. So I could not
understand. Chandrachud saying he can come back like in flashback or ghost.
So that's what I thought. Maybe the only good thing was it's not a bad show, I have to say. It's around 25 minutes. She then falls in love with his wife. The wife and she start having an affair. So it's about a lesbian relationship
like
in
Fire.
19. But their focus on sex is very minimal in this.
Even in Fire, there was no focus on sex.
No, there was that strange scene where she licks the... Yeah. So this is all very aesthetically done and all.
So making scenes can also be aesthetically done.
It's very progressive.
You're sounding like a real Dadi ji.
You're sounding...
I'll call you Dadi ji. Because it's sex दिखा दिया उन्होंने, but this is aesthetically done क्योंकि sex नहीं दिखाया.
Sex नहीं, ये तो love है एकदम, but it's basically...
Like Subhash Ghai was the king of aesthetics because he did not show any sex. Say ilu.
Who were Subhash Ghai's, all the actresses, Manisha Koirala, Madhuri Dixit, Mahima Chaudhary. He had this thing now, he changed their name
from
to
M. M was his lucky number.
Yeah, that's another anecdote.
It's
number
not a number, it's an alphabet.
It's a letter. It's not the alphabet. But so this entire show is about this married woman who falls in love with this avant-garde
widowed woman.
Artist who's a widow, but she's like this free-spirited widow, and how this woman...
Because of course it can't be. I mean, you should go to Banaras in the 50s where all widows had to mundwao their head and live on the ghat. Like, she's a widow, but she's a very... Why is there a but?
I'm saying because in India, they don't show like that.
Of course, I know many such people.
So the whole show is about this relationship and how this woman goes through the stages of having an affair, leaving her husband, whether she would leave her husband and so on, and then ultimately what happens. But there's a lot of politics in it. So like suitable...
As in gender politics? Or?
No, gender politics is also. So they say like... Also, yeah, because 1992, all the communal riots that were happening and all, there's a backdrop of that. But where I felt it doesn't work is one, the dialogue. If you hear some of the dialogue, no one speaks to anyone like that, and definitely not to someone you're in a relationship in that very stilted...
But I think that's the new trend because, you know, all the shows which we didn't like, but clearly everybody else did, Suitable Boy, then
Bombay
that
Bacon.
White Tiger... They were all like, the dialogue was
no
written
one talks like that.
But maybe that's the new trend. Maybe people talk like that. We are just not aware of it.
Maybe we should start talking.
Because no one talks to us.
No one talks. We are talking to each other. Maybe no one talks to us because we aren't talking like that. And that's strange. So she says things like,
come here, won't you?
Yeah, come here, won't you? Do you not feel that I can replace your husband's affections? Like if someone spoke to me like that, I'd be very worried. I'd to run. But so it's scary when they... So Monica Dogra isn't the best at acting. This Riddhi Dogra is. There's a lot of... I'm impressed that in a Hindi show...
Your dialogue was using English. How's it a Hindi show?
They speak in English also.
So then how's it a Hindi show? It's an English show.
It's a Hindi show, but they do that at least normal way that they'll have 4-5 lines in English.
It's a Hindi show where everyone's talking.
They speak 4-5. How could I say? In Hindi, I'll say, आप यहाँ पे आओ, फिर मैं आपका पति का...
आप यहाँ आए किस लिए? आपने बुलाया इसलिए.
If I said what I said in Hindi, can you imagine would anyone have understood what I said? मैं आपका pati ka affections, you tell me, translate it for me. I will replace your husband's affections.
Sneh, pyar, ishq, mohabbat, love, what can be so many things.
No one is going to be
my
coming
Paryayvachi is very good. Like I can tell you like 5 words for lotus. Kamal, Jalaj, Pankaj,
Modi.
Saroj, Neeraj, Modi.
Okay. No. So it's just that the dialogue isn't normal, and I felt the way some of the things that this married woman does, even today, if I were... So there's one scene where she's giving pakoras in the house. They reminded me of you.
Speaking of Modi,
They're giving chai and pakoras she's giving, okay? And then they say that gets the sandwiches or something. So she goes to the kitchen. Her full family is sitting there. She has 2 children. And then she just walks to the gate and the gate is open. So it's calling out to her, right? Freedom.
Run,
and she
Forrest,
just leaves and goes to her girlfriend's house and doesn't tell them and doesn't come back for 2 nights.
But you're saying that's not possible.
No, I'm saying if you did that even today, your family will get upset with you. There's
Now, see the beauty.
okay, some wild story.
One is the good thing is that she had taken Modi's back. He said pakoda stall everyone should set up. So she set up a pakoda stall. So she is doing nation building.
Correct. But pakora stall in the house just selling.
Wherever. Modi ji said you should set it up.
Anywhere.
It doesn't matter where you set it up.
That to even I do then.
Then, the object of your affection, Sneh.
Sneh.
If you saw Simi Garewal's interview with Amrita Singh and Saif when they had got married, he had come to a house for dinner and he never left.
He never left. This is correct.
So it can happen, beta.
No, but he had not left his 2 children and his wife and his in-laws and just
Then
gone
he did
to
that
Amritsar.
eventually.
Then he did that.
So,
no, there
see the
was
beauty.
in between. In
But
between there was
anyways, I'm
another
saying
one.
kuch ho sakta hai.
It's not a bad watch. I just felt that the acting skills could have been improved greatly. At least for Monica Dogra, because she's one of the protagonists. And but it's quite progressive. There's a lot of
Progressive.
बहुत ही progressive है lesbian relationship. Then they're kissing and all. I was like, nowadays actresses and all.
You're such a... You remind me of a dadima. It is very bold. There is kissing kaafi bold. Dude, what? Like, how do you talk? I'm the uncle here.
You can get the COVID vaccine now.
Is it very bold also?
It's very bold.
So 25 minutes, how many episodes?
11, I think there were.
Oh dear God. You watched all?
Yeah, I had a lot of time.
You're lying.
I watched all. I go to sleep at 2 a.m. also, no? That's why.
Okay.
That might
Maybe
be.
that's why you're not getting your sleep because you watch this kind of stuff. So, on that note, thank you. So, you would say that if you have other options, don't watch.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch the whole thing. Like the
But
last
you did
episode.
already.
Yeah, last episode, say I fall into that trap. Now I've watched 8 episodes. Let's watch the 9.
But that's not a trap.
That's a trap. It's like after 8 years of marriage, you're like, okay, then I'll stay for 2 more years. Then you've stayed 2 more years, then I'll stay for 2 more years. Like that.
Right.
Right.
So, on that note, I have one email. So, Prithvi says, Dear Abhinandan and Rajyasree, I'm glad you guys finally started watching regional, especially Malayalam films. I myself was introduced to the treasure trove of Malayalam cinema recently. Abhinandan, as a fellow football lover, I highly recommend Sudani from Nigeria, a film about the relationship between the manager of a small club in Kerala and his star player, a Nigerian migrant. Love the podcast. Oh, this sounds interesting. Sudani from Nigeria. That's the full name I'm thinking.
Are you sure? Or Sudani, which is made by...
It's Malayalam, Kerala, so it can't be from Nigeria. It's a Malayalam thing. So maybe...
I don't think Sudani is the Malayalam. Those are 2 different thoughts, I think.
I'm reading it, na? You must, Toko. And in there you say, I interrupt. The cheek.
Are you sure?
So now, Prithvi, I'm going to be now reviewing with Drishyam 1 and 2. But to listen to that, you have to check out our podcast. The video ends here. So thank you for watching. You can continue and listen to the whole podcast on our podcast player. It's on all podcast players, but I'd recommend you come to newslaundry.com and check it out through our podcast player because we spent a good deal of money and it's got fantastic features. Also subscribe to newslaundry.com. You go to our website, click on the subscribe button because we don't take any ads. We only depend on you. And we have a new NL Sena project up. Manisha, Meghnad, Nidhi, Ayan is in Assam. And Parikshit and Aditya, they're all traveling. We'll be bringing you the Bengal election, Tamil Nadu election, Kerala election, Puducherry election, and Assam election. So we don't depend on ads, we depend on you. So there's a new NL Sena project up. Do go to newslaundry.com, click on the Sena project or on the subscribe button and pay to keep news free because when the public pays, the public is served. And those of you who are consuming this for mufat, ठीक है, करते रहो. But जब खबरों की सड़ जाएंगी ना, when all the news is just owned by one billionaire, or hate mongers, then you'll wonder, why has news become like this? Then I'll ask, what were you doing when this shit was happening? So, for the full podcast, check out the audio version. This is it for the video.